Welcome in to Squad Ops One Life events. Today we've got Operation Sleeping Serpents, Part 1. I am Bcarr. Joined with me today is Xbit. Say hello.
Hello, viewers.
Xbit has greeted you. And we've got Shadow Ritual in the background mixing the stream for us. Many thanks to him for doing this, helping us put on this show. So, Sleeping Serpents. It's new. We've never done this before. It came out of Xbit's mind like last week. And it's a two-parter. So today, unlike campaigns in the past where there's been mission 1, mission 2, and you play both sides, it's sort of like a mini campaign sort of scenario where the missions are, I guess, tied, ? And both sides will be played by both of these teams. Today we have Dorf commanding Russia. Yes, Dorf commanding Russia. Sorry, just had to double check. With Sughart and Bag of Joe and Phoenix and Lil Bump as his squad leads. For British, HML is in command with Best Pony, Acid Pantalones, Axe Gaming, and Scartaz. Couple of new SLs in the mix there. Recent regs, Lil Bump and Acid Pantalones. I think they were just made regs very recently, like in the last couple of days, if I'm not mistaken. So it should be good. Dorf, HML, both on the newer side of commanding, but are learning pretty quickly. HML is definitely on the less experienced side compared to Dorf. Dorf's got a couple more operations under his belt compared to HML, I'm pretty sure. And some seasoned squad leads in there too, including Scartaz, Axe, Sughart, Pony. I guess there's more on one team than the other. But anyway, so that's enough about who is here. Let's talk about what we're doing. And to tell you about that in the most concise way possible, because he actually came up with the idea, we're going to have Xbit go over what is Sleeping Serpents Part 1.
All right, so Sleeping Serpents Part 1 is part 1 of a possible 4-part series. But anyways, let's concentrate on part 1 here. So the Russian and the British forces are in kind of a quiet sector of a long war between, NATO and Russia. And the two sides are on either side of the river, and nothing's been happening. So Russia has decided to send infantry across the river, start probing the British defense to see what they have over there and if it's slightly defended or if it's going to be a bloodbath they cross. And that's the premise. That's what's interesting about this is that each team will have to fight over a different location each round. So if round 1 they choose to fight at one defensive position, like one of those 3 green boxes, the second round the defending team has to pick one of the other 2, so they can't defend the same position. So for the players, it's like almost a new operation each round, and for you guys watching, it's a little something different to look at for both rounds. But the premise remains the same for both. One's attacker, one's the defender. So British get to pick one of those 3 locations, and Russia gets to start anywhere west of the river, anywhere in that red section, so they can come at them from different angles. There's also some unique options for the Russians. They get a secret advantage. I believe for this round, they may or may not have gotten one. Once we find out, we'll let you know. But for loadouts, let's do that. Russia gets 2 AR per squad, 1 LAT, 1 medic. They also get 2 MGs for the platoon. They don't get any vehicles. I don't see any vehicles here at the Russian start, so they didn't get any advantage for that. They don't get a fob, so it's a pure infantry assault for them. For British, they get 2 AR, 1 LAT, 1 medic, and 2 MGs themselves. For logistics and vehicles, they get 2 logistics trucks filled with anything they want, and on the fob, their defensive platoon position, they get 1 tow, 1 mortar, and whatever sandbags and wires they want to put down. So, pure infantry assault here. Attack and defend.
And that's just based on right now. We are not sure that Russia has any of the advantage. One of the cool things that Xbit's been adding to these operations is a little bit of chance. And because some operations we play them a lot and or at least frequently. So designing operations with this in mind from the get-go really varies how an operation plays out, because you might have a general like objective, but sometimes the dice roll determines what you can and can't do reasonably to complete that objective.
Yeah,
uh,
it adds
yeah,
the unknown factor for both sides, right? So as a commander, you don't know if you're going to get an asset or not. So you make one plan, but that might change all of a sudden when you get a bonus. And for the defender, you don't know where they're starting at or whatever. One of the advantages for Russia is if you look at the right hand side of that map, you saw two little landing zones in the back, so the Russians could actually be inserted behind the British lines. So as a British commander or a defender or just a player on the British side, you got to keep all those things in mind about all the different things that could be coming at you. And it's the unknown. It's the stress and the drama of the unknown.
it's pretty cool. A lot of campaigns are set up like that, or similarly, very recent operations. A lot of them have the sort of dice roll mechanic, and I like that a lot in operations. I just think it's the coolest thing to, if you have a plan going into it, you really can't plan very specific things down, and most plans shouldn't be super specific plans in the first place. You really just got operational sort of direction is what you want to sort of give as a commander for a plan. But sometimes you do want to tell your people, hey, we want to approach from this direction and this is how I want to do that. So it's all about balancing uh you know the specifics with the generalizations. Let your squad leads handle the rest. And for this situation, no vehicles. It's a blessing and a curse, because you have a lot of resources tied up in that tow. Um, and you've also got vehicles you don't have to worry about.
Well, like I said, the British have options. They can wait to put down those emplacements, risk the chance of being surprised and not having time to put them up in case the BTR does show up. But in that case, you can also save those resources and put down something else that may more advantageous.
Yeah, you should be able to hear the BTRs coming from a good distance away, and someone that's on their toes, anticipating that, can place down that tow emplacement and have it built pretty quickly, considering that there wouldn't be real use.
This on the ground action here.
Yeah, speaking of operations, let's go ahead and take a look at where we're going to be operating in operationally. Uh, India 6 is where the Brits have decided to put their forward base. It's got plenty of high ground, and it should have superior ground to pretty much anywhere that Russia wants to come along. Really, at least at range. Yeah, it's the way that they've got their base set up. They're going to have a lot of that. Russia has to cross a lot of open field unless they're going to sneak in from another point and attack from behind. Russia gets to start pretty much anywhere on the western side of the map, and they've decided to start at the factory area over at Gulf 3. At least that's where most of their forces are massing.
Joe, my numpad doesn't work, but
Maybe squads are still getting ready here. Based on the marks on the map, I don't mean to presume the plan, but looks like they're going to have a huge base of fire, and they're going to leg it in from the north. And matter of fact, some squads are actually moving. I was going to say some squads are moving and over a minute away. Since I would imagine first contact would take the thing.
Just to take a look at the position he's got set up here. He's taken kind of the high ground position. It's overlooking a river, which is an open space. It's quite open. I mean, if he's going to face a BTR, the BTR could shoot across the river and pretty well pin his team. So most of his defenses are probably going to be reverse slope. But the entire east side of that position is quite open for maneuver. So I'd probably stick a squad out there, maybe squad having both their fire teams do a kind of a crossing patrol just to pick up any contact moving around. Maybe set an OP 300 meters to the northeast, right around the clump of trees there, just west of Akim. Maybe another OP to the southwest, another 300 meters out. Just for information, because knowing where they're coming from and what the number is the kind of the key to a kind of a flexible defense like that.
Yep. And we are live here, round 1 of Operation Sleeping Serpents. And British have decided to throw a fire team northwest on the lower hill. And that lower hill is sort of the weird peninsula that juts out thanks to how this river is. So that's plenty of forward position to look at, you know, the wide open spaces. And they have a fire team sort of back up on their shelf where their main base is. And the Russians have already spotted them.
It's set up all over India 6 and 9-6. It's on the northern section.
Lil Bump there spotting for his platoon. 2 squads are moving from Russia to the southeast, and they're going to take up positions on the hill.
Yep, so if you guys hear mortars incoming, spread out. Keep your heads down.
Speaking of colors on stream, blue for Russia, red for the UK forces here. Just in case I forgot to mention that, which I'm pretty sure I did.
So it looks like British just send out a little OP here, just kind of open ground. To get back to their main fob behind them is going to be kind of hard. And it looks like Russia is going to set out 2 squads as base of fire and 2 squads as flanking element. If you look up there, they're already maneuvering to the north. So we'll see if the British get tunnel vision, and that flank is able to work to their advantage for the Russians.
Lil Bump is asking his AR to engage, possibly. He was saying it's 150 meters away, and I'm thinking to myself, no.
My hunches are correct.
That's a little bit further than 150 meters from where nuclear Twister 6 is. Is it more like 250 to 3, yeah? I'd have to check, pulling my map out again. But Russia are socked in here. They've, most of the part, they're prone up against the side. Double D here is our MMG for this Russia squad. He's got his bipod deployed, and he's looking in the general direction. I'm sure.
Look at the peak.
Well, okay.
The first hill.
All right, Double D.
Okay, give me a bearing.
Lots of communication, trying to talk on where, yep, where they see the enemy.
They're watching us right now, so they know we're pinning. I have one fire team not committed.
It's a pretty good concave sort of formation that Russia have for the for their base of fire formation here. And squads 3 and 4 here for Russia still engagement happening. Lots of tracers coming back and forth here. Tolchek was opening fire. The Brits fall back behind cover. Still some MGs. The forward positioned British squad are now running back, and they're in the open. I wonder if the Russians are going to see them. It's a little far.
Squad 3, keep maneuvering down Juliet 3.
This is probably meant to be some sort of distraction as Russia forces start pushing east from the north. The two squads that are assaulting have crossed the river.
Spread out.
Spread out. Oh, they're pretty close here. Lots of fire that seems to be pretty close. Ooh.
Say about me, Zen.
Here, Shugart is trying to talk his MG gunner on.
Chain commands 1, 2, 3, 4.
I5, 8-5, ham dogs.
Ooh, there we go.
I5, 8-5.
At least, oh,
I've given him the
another British machine gun and starts engaging this position. That's from way far out there.
You need to move your
We're talking of engagement distance around 400 to 500 meters at this point. 500 plus for that one MG way far.
Yeah, it looks like the Russians are really doing a good job of pinning down the British, and the focus is up there while the Russians are maneuvering to the north. So, unseen, unheard so far for this flank from the Russian.
It's got to be a good sign. It looks like some Brits may be getting hit here.
Well, they missed.
Badly.
About how far you want us to go?
And this is just perfect for this assault force. It's still north.
So I'm not gonna do that.
Yeah, Roger. 3 and 4 at the Juliet 432. There, start pushing in.
They're calling out contact southeast.
Roger.
The assault force is actually getting close to getting engaged here. There's a British squad.
Keep moving that way.
Yep, I see contact. I see the contact.
That's that they're calling out now. Let me see if I can find them real quick.
Get yourself in a good position. There's like a fire team out there. Or more.
Wow, look at that. British formation is all
like a whole
prone.
squad.
They
There's a whole
see these
squad out
guys
there.
from a mile away and
Yep,
they just
get
lit
it.
them up
Find a
all at
place,
once.
Either side of the river, gain cover.
Definitely some wounded Russians here. But you can't argue with how that now the British are trying to move along. The UK forces trying to push off that hill to their south, and the Russians are now shooting at nothing. I don't think they had a good idea of where folks were. And the British forces are hoofing it back to their main location, while Russia still spends some ammo on a position where the Brits are no longer. Some pretty rough spacing here for the Russians. But I think they're just sort of confused.
Copy that, access here.
Maybe a medic is trying to heal some people too.
100 sentry. You've pushed them off.
Oh, the Brits are coming straight at them. They're going straight through the town. We're within 100 meters of contact here, and there's a cluster of Russians that are not sure this is happening. The Brits used the buildings as concealment, and they shifted their run about 45, 60 degrees away from their base and straight towards this Russian element here.
Thank you.
And now we hear mortars coming out from the British main base. There is a Russian calling out contacts now. Grenades. And that was OCS Jaeger went down there. One of the first Russian casualties of this northern element. The Russians are now pushing south right into the British's field of fire. Russians have to prone. The Russians are prone in the field now. They're sort of out of place. Grenades are coming in. One of them, maybe a little far, definitely might have hurt some people. Swine is dead. That's Squad 3's FTL, another element of command gone. And it looks like they have one more FTL to get command comms. This squad up here is kind of in a bad position. They need to pull back to their west, but there's no way. It's all wide open. More Russians getting pinned down here. They're looking to try to crawl through.
Command is down.
Alright, I have command now. 3 and 4, what is your position, and do you think you can keep going?
Russians are now swept around. Bag of Joe is almost behind the UK element, but the UK element definitely sees them to their south here. More down. Rockets being shot now. As mortars come in just behind the Russian element. Or it sort of splits them in two. There are some Russians that are still to the west here, but the command, Charles 32 goes down to rifle fire. There's only 3 or 4 Russians remaining here.
Four's reporting they've got infantry within grenade range.
This one squad is doing a lot of damage. Daruba and UJK are running through, but Jacko 800 has them covered. Daruba wants to try to return some fire there, but no. Some shots still coming out. UJK, more mortars incoming. Mortars off the mark by a good margin, but I don't think that's because... I think that's because British are anticipating more people trying to run away that direction. And the British are disengaging here.
I think they did the work they needed to do. They absolutely interrupted this flank by the Russians. The Russians are in disarray right now. They lost like half their guys in that 2-squad push. So
probably more than half. I mean, the ones that are remaining seem to be sticking around, waiting for the British to make a move. UJK sees one, but 1 versus 2 is not good odds. Maybe the British just fell back and tried to find a better position. Here. The Russians are hanging out.
Yeah, the Russians are stuck. They can't move in the direction to the south because the other British forces got pinned down, and they've got that British force in the buildings and the farm, holding the other angles. Their only retreat is to go back the way they came.
3 and 4.
Yeah, you can definitely hear. I can definitely hear the bullets falling just short of the remaining Russians here, crashing against the little hill that's right to their immediate south. And look at that elevation too. The elevation between the main base of fire for the British on this Russian position. They just got to aim a little bit higher and they can get some more casualties. These Russians are getting shot at as they retreat. There's only 4 of them left. Uh-oh. Fiber has used both of his bandages already. There's actually 5 of them here. Fiber's used both of his bandages, but he's bleeding. Fiber might go down here. And he bleeds out. So, Squad 3's command comms, that's it. Pretty sure they're done.
Copy.
So 4 Russians, but more Russian, or 4, this 6 Russians here between 3 and 4, and they're still taking fire from far. You can see where the bullets are hitting the ground. Bag of Joe is actually an original command element with Silent. He's crawling along here trying to get away. The British are still there. Oh, they smoked it. The Russians smoked, so the British are shooting the smokes because, you know, why not?
how many effective the Russians
Just
are?
east of your
Wow.
rally,
So
just
Russia's push.
At the moment,
Let's
absolutely
recap what
none.
happened there. Russia had 2 squads pushing from their sort of
There's been a lot
controlled
of rounds
area
exchanged either
across
way,
the
but
river,
so
and they started
far you
pushing
can't
south.
really
They got
tell.
hit with a nasty flank by a British squad. I believe that was Axe Gaming. And the 2 squads pretty fragmented at this point. Squad 3 for Russia has lost all command comms. And or I think it was squad 3, maybe squad 4. No, squad 4 is still, Bag of Joe is still up, but he's lost most of his squad. Squad 3 remainders.
Good shit.
And now Jacko 800 trying to add something, trying to contribute something from this failed push here. Trying to keep some heads down. The British have completely pulled out of the village with the water tower in it, and Russians are falling back to try to reconsolidate. This is a failed push.
Is Russia command down?
Russia command, I believe, is down.
Yeah.
I heard that happen. I'm not sure when and where Russia's commander was. I think he was with the forward push here.
Yeah, he was with the 2 squads flanking through the river. I think he got shot up in the river.
You must have got pinged pretty early on there. So the original base of fire squads, after they shot their weapons for about a good 5 minutes or so, they're going to be. I'm sure their ARs are pretty depleted. They're making a push along the northern bridge.
So just make sure you get resecured.
So we're across now. We're setting up.
Copy. Yeah, following across.
The British position pretty solid here.
Through by Sap and I'll run across.
Now the base of fire for this crossing, they're coming across now.
2, go ahead and start developing a perimeter right there, and then be ready to start pushing. You're going to be on lead.
So continuing with the theme of no vehicles to transport. The initial contact was a lot quicker than I thought it was going to be, and that was because Russia instigated it. They They had their position. They had 2 squads along a ridge line, and they tried to ping what they could out of the British forces. Not real good results that I could tell. I didn't really notice a lot of casualties from the open distraction fire as 3 and 4 pushed across. Clearly, it wasn't the entire British force. And with a consolidated British force on their point, I'm sure they're ready for any direction of push.
Don't move too fast. We need to let 4 catch up, but we need to keep moving.
So I wonder if Schickhart's taking over command now. Squad 1.
Certainly sounds like it.
He sounds like he's calling some shots here. It's a good thing that Squad 3's remnants, they don't have command comms anymore, but at least they have 4 nearby. So Bag of Joe still has effectively half a squad plus.
Confirm.
And make sure to unrange your weapon double D. If you haven't already.
Yeah.
Squads 3, 4, the remnants are still on the Russia side of the river, but they're going to be pushing across shortly. 1 and 2 safely on the British side, about 200 meters in. Still a good 900 kilometer away from contact.
This place would...
Oh, go ahead.
It wasn't nothing important.
No, go ahead. I'm pretty bored, so.
This place would be real beautiful if, you know, it wasn't a war zone.
Got some up times infantry far down south, so we're now not actually sure if they're west side of the river moving south or if they've gone
Well, while the
really
Russians
far
are
northeast.
maneuvering,
4 ran into
let's
2
go check in
squads on
and
that
see where
peninsula in
the
India 3, and then they stepped back
British
off
are
over the
setting
ridge and
up.
across the river, so there could be
Because the
the whole
closest
pursuit up
element to the Russians right now are good a kilometer away still. The Russians are definitely taking their time to come around.
Well, they tried
I reckon
close
they've
in
probably
flank
still
and
gone
got
west.
destroyed, so now they're being super cautious and going for the wide flank.
Copy that.
Which is, I don't know if I would advise that. I actually would probably keep it close so that you're not burning time. It allows the British to get settled, reset, and gives
You
the
guys seen
squad
anything
leaders,
across the river?
commanders time to think like,
Bravo?
where are they? Well, obviously they're doing a long flank, so
God damn, where the hell are
if I
they?
was the British commander, I'd reorientate myself and look for that wide flank now, not so much of a direct assault.
Correct, yeah, there were 2 squads
It
there.
seems that they've taken,
your fire
I guess,
was
as far
good
as the heads
effect.
tails, north or
Then
south
they
approach,
retreated north back over the ridgeline out of sight
maybe
for 4 and they've
advancing
not been
north
seen
wasn't a
since.
horrible idea.
Southeast or
They may have
northeast.
done a wide clockwise flank.
Yeah, they might have.
Because they would have had the fight 3 in the south there, and that would have been a long ways off from
Yeah.
the objective.
At
least
given that
here,
we
they're going to
cannot see
be
anything
approaching
south or
from a
west, is it
direction
possible they've
that
just gone really long
is level,
northeast?
so less chance of having to deal with like overlapping sustained fire from like LMGs or MMGs. Mortars are still a threat, and with the fact that I'm sure the British haven't built a tow. I mean, if they did, that would be just a shame.
So, do you want us setting up be able to look at the town? Because at the moment, the area that we are supposed to be at only looks.
Also, I just realized this British soldier is at.
That area, basically along the coast and to the peninsula. Make sure you have that covered. My guys will start.
I wonder if that's actually B negative blood patch or like a unit patch that just is for some reason in a weird place on this soldier. I have no idea. Russians slowly moving in. Close to within 900, well, probably less than that. Within about 700 meters of contact.
Let's get into the
Have them
action.
watch southeast. Yeah.
Okay, copy that.
I was thinking.
You know,
of
that is
sending maybe a
one.
buddy team across the river. Because now that we've taken,
That is one thing I would
now that we've
like
taken contact, we
to
can
see squad
really know
add
where to go.
on the
Where
map
to put them.
screen is a
It's-
good
you can put them
old
anywhere,
like
really. They could be anywhere.
click and drag distance calculator.
Yeah, keep up the work, gentlemen.
I don't have eyes to my southeast. Stand by.
Hold one. Skarntaz's fire team to your south, to your east, might have eyes on your southeast.
The British are trying to figure out where this push is
check
coming
standby.
from. They're discussing with themselves.
Alpha, can you have you got eyes
The-
on the southeast of
They
where
haven't
3
had contact
currently is,
for
or can you
probably
only
good
see
5-10
southeast of
minutes
where
now.
you are?
I've got eyes to my southwest, which is approximately India 898.
Okay, perfect. Stand by.
We don't have
3,
fleets on the
my
south,
Alpha
we got
Fire
numbers
team
official.
to your northeast do have eyes to your southeast as far as India, sort of 8-9-ish. India
There's
8-9.
really no squad lead for British looking in the direction that the Russians are approaching from. So it's going to have to be relying on an AR gunner's naked eye here. A recap on strength. Russians have killed 1 Brit. Brits have killed 13 Russians.
Yeah, once we're past you to the south, you can begin moving, just for now.
Jump, no jump.
So a pretty nearly intact British force here. That's got to make HML feel pretty good.
I think we're supposed to the right lane.
That's good.
Yeah, building clear.
Clear red.
I'm trying to look and see where the British would be able to spot these Russians coming at them, and
All right, so we can make this go faster, but it'll be riskier by moving across the.
it seems like they wouldn't really have a good chance to spot them from within 300 or 400 meters.
For what I'm going to have you do, you see that high rise or the hill that's in the middle of that field out there to our south? I'm going to have you move your guys.
This is one of those situations where I imagine players are back and forth between their maps and trying to figure out where things are.
I lost my
in relation to distance and trying to get good.
I don't know where they went.
I imagine this is a good time to, you know, if you're eyeballing for distances,
there were 2 of them, right?
is on point.
Yeah, have the remnants meet back up with 4.
This would be a good time.
All right, 1 and 2. We're going to be moving. We're going to continue moving through the top part of K5 here.
Copy.
Yeah, there's no one here. Good thing too.
Remember, gentlemen, we have 500 build points left. If you want to build something, now's the time.
Copy that. I'm going to reinforce the northeast. It's
about
making me
300
nervous.
meters of contact. They're going to start skylining this hill at range.
I'm feeling a little bit nervous. The hairs are standing up on the
British
back of my neck
folks
over this
here
northeast flank.
might
Got
be
no
able to
defences
see
built
them.
this side, so I'm going to get some put down.
Starting in about 10 seconds.
That's what I mean. If they have to have gone really long.
2 of your alpha, 2 people in your alpha fire team to watch their southwest.
To the east though,
There seems to be a kind of slot that the Russians can walk straight through in between your fire team and squad 3.
Kilo 7-5.
Okay, copy that. Understood.
Kilo 7-5 should have good line of sight around.
Right, guys in
Russia's
Alpha,
gonna
you
be
see
real
how you're split
careful
up
to
in 2
not
buddy teams at the
totally
moment?
skyline themselves here on top of that little hill.
Can we have the northern fire team looking northeast and the southern fire team looking southwest?
Copy that. Copy that, squad 4.
Thank you.
I have good eyes all the way up to Juliet 8-5. Past that to the east, I have no eyes.
Bravo, can I have 2 of you guys to me with shovels, please?
Yeah, I believe Squad Taz's fire team could see him.
Copy that, we can see them.
Russians splitting their forces now. And a squad leader has now come in to look in this direction. Oh, it's the command. HML is now looking in the direction the Russians are approaching. And I guarantee you, we just saw a Russian pop over the hill there. Bcarr. The effective command and the command are now pretty much looking in the same direction.
Yeah, I don't know if I would split my forces here.
Makes me wonder, I mean, what's the point? They're going another distraction force to go over way to the east? Maybe they're sending their broken force that direction. They want to keep coordinated forces behind.
We're set up, no eyes as of now. I have no eyes. Okay, push direct west. Get to that hill in K5-2.
Some shifting with the British positions, looks like. But the ARs and the lat gunner that are still prone in this direction are still hanging out.
Yeah, it's obvious that British has spotted the Russians and they're repositioning themselves, thinking that it's going to be a wide flank. And this is one of those opportunities as the assaulting commander where you gotta figure that if you can see them, they've spotted you. So I would have gone ahead with the focus firepower that I have left in my platoon and pushed right on through the forest. I think by splitting your
Sugar's
forces...
trying to talk. Sugar's trying to talk this onto a target here.
Copy ranged.
Alright, hold fire.
Roger.
Alright, so 2, you're gonna push up. We're gonna try to cover you as best we can. We're gonna bound squads. So once you guys get set in a position where you can cover, we're gonna push up.
How far do you want us pushing? Real question.
Push, I don't know, 100 meters. Yeah, push 100 meters to cover.
Copy, I'm getting my squad set up to push.
Copy.
It's kind of the waiting game as Russia gets their forces set up here.
Dealing with each obstacle as we come.
Copy, my squad's almost set up.
4, how are you looking?
We're good to go. No eyes.
Copy. Do you have any eyes on contacts? Okay, the contacts should be directly to your south west right now.
Copy, scanning.
I will light them up with... Copy. Alright, my
Here we
squad's
go,
gonna
make
open
sure.
up.
Scotland.
4, then you open up on what we're engaging. Then 2, you move.
Here we go. Russia about ready to commence long-range fire.
On the ridge, 2-0.
It's pretty strong. Before the engagement here, we're at 1 kill for Russia, 13 kills for British. And Toltec opens up. A little short. Still nothing. The British are maneuvering behind
on the
the
Kilo
big
5
field that they
6
have
line
in front of them.
and on the northwest of that part of the road.
I think the far flanking element is being shot at range, or they're just trying to engage at range.
Bravo, hold for position for now, so until we know this isn't a distraction.
Don't overextend if you don't need to. You guys are simply a distraction waiting for Axis fire team.
They're going to try to do a synchronized field
Given
crossing
by the
here.
amount of fire going out, I don't think it's a distraction, but we'll see.
Yeah, I got eyes. I'm in that field.
Alpha, attach yourselves with command for a moment. He's got eyes on something.
Brits seem like they're not entirely sure what's going on. They want to make sure they're not getting bamboozled by another distraction again. Depending on how many forces they keep back from, you know, this direction, could be bad news bears, but there's forces going to intersect them. They're going to run into each other right here. They're within 50 meters already. Wellome goes prone right here. There's their forces real close. They're not looking anywhere. The British aren't really looking up here either, but I think one sees them. Bartok Warrior looks like he got 1 or 2.
What direction?
British forces are now holding position. They're anticipating a wave. X Gaming squad. This is the squad in charge of the flank. He seems to get pretty good handle on it. The British forces kind of putting like 180 security on.
Well, once it turns to nothing, then start moving.
Bartok close to skyline in here. Could get shot at pretty quickly here if he keeps going up that hill.
Really close, like 150 meters.
Then why aren't you more spread out?
Alright, keep you guys spread out.
Bartak going up and over. Comes back. Maybe the British guy wasn't looking.
Shortest possible route for you is
Axe seems to be moving his fire team back. Hey, that's good. Couple casualties for, looks like that's 2 for 1 there. Not quite sure if there was any fatality or KIA over here for Russia. Maybe on another front. Some long-range fire going up by British. Now British are repositioning forces.
Good luck for.
Sending many squads to the east.
Okay, that's the top of the hill, pretty distant at 240. We're getting close. Keep moving.
Check our map here to see. Check our map here to see how far along we are. Forest in real close contact. This is the fragment squad that sort of died. They've pushed across the field. They're in the woods now, but Bag of Joe is really suppressed. He got tagged there.
I'm gonna start moving my guys directly southwest.
We got contacts direct southwest on top of the hill.
Good British position here. I wonder if Bag of Joe will see him. Now Bag of Joe wants to throw a smoke. And he's going to try to fall back here, but I think someone sees him. I think Waka Waka is looking this direction.
8-1, one of your FTLs is falling behind.
It's not Waka Waka, it's Raf.
Axe, move your full fire team to the north axis. Where the bunker
Bag of Joe's got that bush in his way, so you really can't see. Daruba's trying to move up to heal him. Daruba gets hit.
Copy that.
It is roughly
A little
hard
spacing
peelback,
problem
please, gentlemen.
now.
We need to get on top of the
Bag
fence.
of Joe crouch rocking away.
If you can make it back all the way west, yeah, command's recalling us. He wants us back on fob proper. Copy that. I've told him twice.
Daruba.
ASAP, guys. Bravo as well. Peel back west onto
It looks
fob
like
proper.
smokes are now deployed.
You're holding at your fallback position. You have your fire team on the southeast. Sounds looks good.
Yeah,
Cover
everybody.
fire.
Command's call.
Okay,
And it looks like the Brits that were running to the east are now come back to the west. Maybe we're looking at some more forces coming from the south, trying to return to the base.
Copy.
Fagas sees a couple, but well, he might have tagged one. One of them looks like they're bandaging. The other one is stuck behind a tree. Fagas gets tagged.
You got hit? Yeah.
Not quite sure where he's coming in from.
Bravo, can you pull back south?
Try to keep this
Ooh,
up.
grenade.
Try to keep this formation if you can.
I'll remember you saved my life by suppressing them. Thanks, man.
Little off
Suppression works.
target. Fagas
Yeah,
trying
we
to
just
get
need
back
you to
up
get back to
here.
fob proper. So if you can
And the
come
British
south
look
and
like
go
they're
around
falling
that bend
back
in the
too.
road or something, then do it. You're out on a limb there though. You'll get overrun.
Squadly, possible movement northeast of Alpha, K6 possible.
K61.
Oh, and there goes Fagas. The British. Let's try to get
he
a
is,
handle
yes.
on what the British are doing.
Get him over here whenever you can.
Looks like they pulled a squad back to within 100 meters of their fob.
Alpha Hustle, if
The
you
Russians
can,
have made
hand
a
dog.
pretty significant
Command
advance
wants you
here,
back on the mortar.
but there's still a considerable number of Brits that are off the point. There's a Russian lat there trying to project some fire.
Get ready for that push.
Oh, Russia pushed straight into the smoke here?
Toastman, you okay?
I'm good. Stamina, sorry.
This is kind of a weird broken forest. There's a lot of wide open spaces here. British lads coming in now. I think Bartok got hit by that. He's bandaging. Yeah. Bartok goes down. Looks like he got pinged from a guy on the hill.
Alright, 2, let's
Well, I'm sitting in the smoke. Smoke's now dissipating. He moved out at the right time. The remainder of Sugarheart's squad is now trying to extend a little bit more to the west.
I got a frag if you need it.
Over here.
They are.
Gotcha. Do you want to try those?
They're getting pretty close though to enemy forces. They got a large hill to climb here as far as kills. 5 kills for Russia, 20 kills for British.
That's probably
So now Russia are half gone.
See something?
Stand back. Real close to me. 167.
Yeah, that's the actual fob, Rico.
And it looks like the Russians have finally found the British fob.
Hey guys, I got people crawling 255. On that fucking ridgeline, directly ahead of us.
Gotcha.
If you see anything move, fucking light it up.
Miniature town to our south.
Silas finds an off angle. There goes Ricochet. And there's more British behind them.
Copy, yeah, my guy just got it out.
Oh, grenade. Mortars. Mortars are a little off the mark. I think that guy was already dead.
My guys are dispersing.
So the Russians are just going to run downhill here. And there's no British forces that are trying to sneak around the hill. They're just on top of it. So reverse slope assault. Interesting.
Everyone's slowly collapsing in around us.
Taking contact on the force east.
More mortars going out here.
Farther north.
They're en route.
Copy that.
There's some medium range firefights going on. More Russia's going down now.
All comms are down.
The Schickhardt went down there. It looks like those mortars were about 30, 40 meters long. A little overcorrection there. Ooh, a grenade right in the middle of a Russian formation here as they're trying to sneak around the hill. Forces 1 to bandage.
I want to take this little outcropping here.
They got frag.
Okay, our squad went down.
Get eyes up there in
Yeah,
case they fall
Sug
down.
is down, but there's a saw southwest. Oh.
Alright. I'm ready to move. You are.
Alright, stay on me.
Russians are committing to this push now, trying to do what they can.
Here, come with me.
Yeah, Storm and Nieholz, one of the few British pushed far enough north, relatively, is actually really close to Lil Bump. Lil Bump by himself here. 26 kills for British, 9 kills for Russia now. And they're going to try to shoot some of the Russians that are popped around. Looks like they might have got one. 4 Russians are trying to sneak to the east. Yeah, they definitely did get one.
Okay, the enemy is on my previous turn.
Lil trying to regroup. There are people prone all around here. Lil Bump is, Daruba is going to get shot in the back here. There's so many people prone in this field. Daruba fires back, gets one.
He's right on me, 102. Just east of me, saw there.
Oh, he's bandaging.
Maybe like 20 meters.
is an MG behind a bush, line firing.
Left of that, left of that.
Killed one. Another one.
Wow, that was lucky for Daruba. He had some people behind him to back him up.
Fuck whoever's to the north. We got people to our south.
This is Zaki 90. And now he's running away. Wonder if Daruba will see him. I think he does. No? Lenoid, I think he's got an AR, but he's got hit a couple times now.
Got that guy. Could be dead.
He might bleed out.
Alright, that's 3 dead.
He's got his bandage on him. I think they've assumed they've killed him.
Those might be all of them. Let's check north.
Daruba displacing here. Might be displacing directly in front of the last guy. Low bump on the main hand. I think he's the last surviving SL. At this point, it's too fragmented for Russia to make a real comeback here. We take a look at the scores. It's 31 kills for British and 14 kills for Russia. Russia, the forces, once they get into the space, they're holding their own, but just not effective at range, and the general strategy was just countered pretty strongly by that by the British.
Who's watching flank?
Which one?
Yeah, Raph, just look south.
Where's that HE
in case anything comes up, let us know.
We're probably down to less than 5 Russians, I think.
Where do you want the HE?
Just stay close.
Oh, but I can't see it.
The British are just like massed around their radio as if trying to make the best 360 security they can. Atomic Peach is crawling straight towards Mr. Moneyman, but he's not looking his direction. Mr. Moneyman holding position will definitely be able to take a shot at Peach as he comes up and over this little part of the hill here.
I'm gonna keep moving forward slowly.
And here we go.
Yeah, go
Let's see if
for it and try to watch
Moneyman
out with that
will
from
shift. Yep, Moneyman sees him. There goes Peach.
He said something about the ridge. I didn't hear him. It is on max. Oh, I see one. He's west of me, west. Moving left to right, like right at the edge of the hill.
Daruba spots Sonny. Sonny immediately goes prone. He's going to get up again, try to reposition, take another shot at him. And here we go. Let's see if Sonny will be able to pull a trigger on this. He's looking for him. Yep. Sonny gets him. But there may have been someone else, actually. And now I think it's all down to low bump. Unless there are some Russians that I'm not aware of alive. Which there aren't. Low bump taking some shots at Axe. Sonny right beside him, though. He ain't no fool. Returning some fire there. Trying to get behind some hard cover. Sonny, Low bump is pushing himself into a tree. I don't know if he thinks I don't know if he knows there's a tree there or not.
Runs away.
You can hold on mortar. You can hold on mortar.
I know.
Squad 3.
Where we just had contact.
Oh my. That was Jenkins there with the kill there. Jenkins just runs up, straight up on him and pops him inside, but not fast enough to react. And that's GG. British defend their objective against a Russian infantry assault.
Yeah, that was a pretty good round. Little breaks there. every once in a while for the infantry to walk around, but I thought it was a pretty good round. Everybody watching, if you got questions about squad ops and what we do here and how to join us, go ahead and hit us up in chat. If you got questions about the op itself or what kind of MRE I'm eating for lunch today, go ahead and hit us up and ask those questions. Otherwise, I think we'll be back in a little bit.
Yeah. Yep. Make sure you check out our website too, squadops.gg, if you want to learn more about us. But for now, we're going to be right back for round 2. Stick with us.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming out to SOTT Basic. I'm your instructor today, Hammering Hutch. You guys can simply just call me Hutch. When we are suppressing an enemy target, the whole intent of this is to keep the enemy's head down so an adjacent unit can maneuver onto them. During this process, we have a thing that happens automatically and organically, whether it be with buddy teams or fire teams. The whole intent is to ensure there's no lull in the gunfire, thus talking guns. Open fire. Contact front. Alpha, bound. I'm up. He sees me. I'm down. Bravo, bound. I'm up. He sees me. I'm down. All right, Bravo set. Alpha up. He sees me. I'm down. You're now in what is known as a file. You're now in what is known as a staggered column, and usually used when on patrol or when moving from one location to another where contact is imminent. And these are a few of the basic formations that we use during squad ops. The SOTT Advanced Weapons Systems course was created to ensure Squad Ops participants share the same knowledge and understanding of the use and applications of mission-specific weapons and the basic tactics involved in their deployment. The Automatic Rifleman. The Automatic Rifleman is the foundation of a fire team and/or squad. The job of the Automatic Rifleman is to deliver a high volume of prolonged, effective suppressing fire on enemy positions to allow the maneuver of friendly units during offensive operations and the repelling of enemy attacks in defensive operations. The Grenadier, a key member of the fire team and squad. The Grenadier is first and foremost a rifleman who is capable of delivering accurate fire of both high explosive and smoke rounds on point and area targets at varying distances. One of the other added benefits of the Grenadier is to engage dead space, which is essentially an area that cannot be hit by direct fires. The light anti-tank gunner. Soldiers carrying light anti-tank weapons are, just as Grenadiers, riflemen first. They are the ideal infantry-based counter to both lightly armored and thin-skinned vehicles. At short, medium, and far distances, the rockets fired are a viable weapon against groups of infantry as well. The SOTT Advanced Weapons Systems course, although not a requirement, is highly encouraged for Squad Ops participants to join to expand their knowledge of how to utilize the tools that are given to us within Squad.
guys, sorry, I kind of rushed things and it fell apart. And I died early. So this round we're gonna defend our lovely farm here. I mean, look at the crops; they're fantastic. We need them for the harsh winters.
They're great.
In order to defend this fob,
Got about 8 minutes.
okay. Shughart will be on the fob proper, setting up defenses. And Little Bump will be on the hat markers to the north, as well as defending the town. Hat marks, you guys are gonna be, or Bump Squad, you guys are gonna be pretty much watching the rail bridge area. They won't be crossing the bridges because the bridges are too raggedy for them to be able to use. So watch them in the rivers. Pretty much watching our northeast and northwest. Phoenix Squad will be on the BTR mark to our southeast, watching our flank area, as well as acting as kind of a reserve force if we need them. And then Bag of Joe will be on the southwest AR mark, down there, roughly here, wherever in that area that is most advantageous for the squad to use. Just keep yourselves in the best, use cover as best you can, engage where and when you can. Don't, just because you see them one place doesn't mean they're not going to be somewhere else. Any questions? Rules of engagement will be pretty much let your squad lead dictate that. If you think you got a good shot, you go ahead and take it. Otherwise, just report up and then wait for your squad lead to give you permission to shoot. Alright, squad leads, break them off into your respective corners. Shug, let's start building.
Copy that. We got a place spotted out for the tow.
Ooh, I don't think we want a tow. I think we just want to...
We're trying to build stuff, so let me control it.
Copy.
Hi there, welcome back. We got round 2 of Sleeping Serpents. We have switched sides. The players have all switched sides because, you know, it's one of those things that happens when the map rolls. And you can see something here in this image, if you're looking at my screen, that is different from last time. And you get one guess as to what it is and how cool it is.
That's the sexiest thing I've ever seen.
It's this thing. So it's the same rules as last time. Russia, they still start on the west side of the island, or the west side of the area, the west of the river. The Brits are on the east. They get to choose a place, but it's not going to be India 9. It's not going to be India 6, but it's one of the other 2 defensive areas.
Sonny, I'm sorry I went off and ran towards the enemy.
So
Perfect spot to be.
that's basically where we're going at. They're going to be approaching to the southeast here. Right now, Russia is starting from Echo 9-9. So it's a pretty good happy medium between the 2 areas that it could be the Brits could be in. And they have this badass vehicle to use. This is BTR 82, if I'm not mistaken. And the 82 has this cool gun on it. It's called a 30 mil.
I'm sure Sherman got to see that perfectly.
And while this particular BTR has no HE, it does have the AP rounds. So fortifications go boom, I would think. But also the coax cannon is fully functional. This thing should be a infantry killing machine, especially at range.
Yeah, okay. That's fine.
This was the special 6. Basically, they rolled a critical on the Russia advantage for this map. That dice roll that we were talking about earlier in round 1, and they get this as a reward.
He is our glorious leader.
And as far as the mission, specifics on the mission, I think Xbit should explain what we've got going on here for Sleeping Serpents Part 1. If you weren't here before, let's go ahead and have him go over what's going to happen, if you don't mind, sir.
Well, I sure hope I know what's going on. I kind of made this one. So, Sleeping Serpents, Part 1. The Russians are on the west side of the river. British are on the east. They're kind of in a stalemate position here. Nobody wants to cross the river, but the Russians have decided to go send out probes to see how strong the British defense is. And so the British get to select one of those 3 green locations, and they have selected the most southern one. And so the Russians have set up in an appropriate position to assault them across the river. They also get the support of a BTR in this one. So that's, as Bcarr is pointing out, that's a pretty decent asset that should help them across the river or provide a suppressive fires and allow them to free up another squad to maneuver. So for assets, the Russians get 2 AR, 1 LAT, 1 medic per squad. For the platoon, they also get 2 MGs, and they get 1 times BTR 82. For British, they get 2 AR, 1 LAT, 1 medic, and also 2 MGs. Same loadouts for both sides. The British also get 2 launchers, 6 trucks full of whatever they want, and for their FOB, their defensive position, they get 1 times tow and 1 times mortar. So we'll see how that works out for them in the position they've chosen. That's basically the mission. Russians got to go find that FOB and destroy it, and the British must protect their platoon's defensive positions there.
I wonder what the reaction time is going to be for British realizing that, oh crap, Russia have armor, and putting down that tow, or if they're going to build the tow preemptively. Because I don't think the British built a tow last round. They had a bunch more resources for fortification.
Yeah, it's we'll see what happens. One of the special rules of this particular operation is that the vehicles may not cross water, so the BTR has to stay west of the river. So it acts more as a kind of a base of fire or a suppressive weapon system, as opposed to more in your face driving over people in your FOB. So, the Russians can't just drive across the river, drop off a bunch of guys, and use the BTR to go ahead and assault the FOB, but they can use it to assault it indirectly, which doesn't totally unbalance the operation because it's supposed to be kind of an infantry focus. But the British do get a tow, so if they do fire across the river, they'll be able to take out that asset right away, and they also have AT to deal with it. So
plenty of answers for that. All right, the Russians are doing a brief, so let's listen in to Commander HML.
We're going to be able to neutralize them there. Alright, so we need to neutralize their FOB there. Command has given us a BTR 30 mil, luckily, so we have a lot of fire support to do this. Pony's taking charge of that BTR. We're going to have Acid and Skartaz cross the train bridge over here to our direct east. They're going to be using the train bridges as cover and go alongside the river onto the island. Acid is going to be taking the eastern part of the road and moving through the town of Soloninki itself, while Skartaz is using the rocks and is heading left of the road, heading south. While that's happening, Axe Gaming is taking his squad to the green FOB marker there, across the river. He's going to be watching Acid and Skartaz's cross. Going to make sure that no British squad comes north and tries to stop them crossing. Now, Pony squad is going to be taking the BTR-80. They're going to mount up and do what they can to head south, possibly over here to this green FOB marker over here. This is up to Pony's discretion. Listen, that's okay. That's okay. This is going to be up to Pony's discretion, but they're going to be going down to that south area and be taking pot shots at that FOB. Anyone have any questions?
Do they have the same assets as us, mortar and tow?
Yes, they have a mortar and a tow.
Can we neutralize by hacking their elections?
No transport.
Are we building up?
No.
What was
special
their,
asset was the BTR.
What was their keep location again?
Keep location is Gulf 12. Gulf 12, somewhere in there. In fact, we're live now, so let's get rolling.
Intro, is this your first stop in command?
You'd be surprised.
He doesn't talk about the others.
So Pony, get your guys mounted up in that BTR. Alright, we're live. So Pony, get your guys mounted up in BTR.
All right. So they've got a BTR 82. Feels cool. Am I right?
Yeah, and the British are setting up their defenses already. It looks like they're sending out their squads to the positions they've been assigned, and this is an interesting spot to defend. So we'll see how this one turns out. I'm going to follow this squad that's flanking far north. They seem to be the ones that are going to run into the British coming across the river here, the first ones. So let's see who's all in this squad here.
Yeah, the Russians definitely going to send a couple of squads across the northern river. They're going to send them across Train Bridge. And if they send them across the upper Train Bridge, that's one thing. They send them across that lower bridge to try to expedite. That could be catastrophic. My words, they're gone. That could be just bad news.
Scartaz and Acid.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how they handle the approach across the river, especially once they run into contact. If that's what those British forces' main mission up here is to do, is to deny that river crossing in the north. Those of you just tuning in, this is Squad Ops. We run One Life events every Wednesday and Saturday. And check us out at squadops.gg if you want more info how to sign up or join us.
Looks like Command is moving up here with a couple squads. No, it's the whole team. So Pony, if I heard correctly, he's in charge of the 82. He's going to be moving it somewhere south. That's the real distraction force.
Hey, Axe, after you're done with your support mission, I'm going to come back in my BTR and grab you, because I'm just going to move my guys down into Desna for now.
Well, they've already spotted, the Russians have spotted the British forces trying to get on some high ground here. And Axe is going to see him here in a second.
Be advised, we have eyes 129.
Copy that. Get your guys.
Oh, and fire coming in from the British.
Fire and then engage.
Be advised, we're getting engaged.
Standing by to us.
Someone's talking about Limes about ready to devolve into a Mitch Hedberg joke. And some accurate fire here coming out from the Russians. There's a bunch of girly screaming also going on here by the Russians. Not sure what that's about. Squad is a magical game. British seem to be trying to find some cover here. Maybe they bit off a bit more they can chew. Of course, the entire infantry force for Russia on these cliffs. The British are watching the Russians here. It's only like one fire team that's really getting engaged.
Golf 951, you said?
On the British side.
Solid copy.
I wonder if the British are making any moves to counter
I'll
this.
see if I can get eyes on them again. Yeah, I have eyes on at least one.
Seems like
still
no.
there. Okay. Yeah, I have eyes on two. A squad lead.
And
Squad lead on
Russians
Golf 951.
begin the
And,
crossing of the
MG.
river.
Copy.
And they're crossing north of Train Bridge, so they're just going to run across. That's a smart move. You got a bunch of wood in your way.
Advise when you want forward across.
Covering you. This is a smart way to cross the river.
Copy that, we're going. Push with aggression, across with aggression. Let's
Pretty
go, 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 go.
straightforward plan too, as we hear reports of mortars
got
coming
mortars
out for
outbound.
the British. And command is telling the Russians to disperse. Here comes mortars. What a wide spread. Almost nails Axe Gaming. About 10 meters ahead of them. Other mortars a little off. That's impressive shots there. Almost killed a link of the chain of command, like right off the bat. And now Axis squad are pushing off the ridge. I think they're going to get picked up by the BTR to move south. While the rest of the main assault element of the platoon seems to be pushed up.
Copy that, understood. Right, gentlemen, listen up. Slight change of plan to the original plan. Ourselves and 2, we're going to be heading south either side of the road. We're now going to move over to the east side and follow
Russian
2
forces
down
pushed
the east side of the
along
road, 'cause
the
west
train
side
bridge
is free
here to where it rejoins the
Everybody
ground
copy?
properly. The British forces that were up
Good shit.
on the
Assets taking
hill
point, so let's
that
follow
tried,
2.
that
Let's
tried
have
to take some
Alpha at
pot
the front,
shots, they're
Bravo at the back.
repositioned. They got an element looking north. And depending on how committed they are to this position, they might get real good shots here on the Russians.
Let's go, gentlemen.
What is that? Is the British HQ shooting on the southern troops for Russia? I think so. Maybe it's a troop a little bit further away from that. Squad 4 looks to be looking directly up. Just if I can get over there and see.
Oh shit! No,
Since we've
I was
taken
all told
contact on the northeast, the British.
Misfire.
That's fine. Since we've taken contact on the northeast,
I'm attempting
yes.
to play aggressively down south because the British are probably. Oh, except my squad's in contact down there. But
Blame when there's some fault. Yeah. Oh.
Alright, I'm letting you know because they
There
can't
was
cross to your.
I can see up until.
What are they shooting at?
F12.
I guess it's pot shots.
Break. We have contact Hotel 1094 direct north of my buddy team.
Okay. Be shifting over.
Have eyes on enemy 30 mil. Have eyes on enemy mil.
Okay.
Echo 11 3 5. Echo 11 3 5 in the village.
30 mil.
Burst along the.
Enemy 30 mil.
Roger. Okay, Phoenix, shift
And
guys
getting
up north.
reports that British command have spotted the troops that are north that are going to push this, that are doing a reverse slope assault here. And also the 30 mil's been spotted to the south.
Enemies very close to my southwest and south.
Copy that axe. Or copy that ass.
Medic, get in the
Grenade
red.
gets one. Jenkins gets pinged.
Contact in front of us. They have the high ground advantage on us. We're not going to win a firefight.
HML realizing reverse slope assaults, not fun times. There's still, some Russians are still taking their chances here.
Hold where you are, Scrub 2, when you can.
Enemy is breaking contact to the south.
Copy that.
This is Nuclear Twister 6. Got a nice angle on some of these on the Russian forces here, but doesn't really have visibility. And Russia pushing up the field here. This Jenkins FTL leading a small element. He's got some cover fire from down below. And British pushing back, looks like.
Yeah, there's no reason for the Russians just to sit there. They got to be aggressive to get up here.
Pushing south now.
They're just grenade bait if they stay in those rocks.
We got really good cover here.
Meanwhile, 30 mil is engaging. I guess they're engaging to its to their south. There's a squad that's sort of split up.
Squad 3 and Squad 1.
Looks like Pony is in the commander's seat, maybe. There's a fire team that's on the opposite ridge. AP rounds at range. I think he sees the top of that guy's head. Just missing. That looks like HE rounds. Are those HE rounds? Yeah, the rounds are landing pretty close, but they're not doing any damage here. Oh, he gets one finally. Ooh.
then that guy's still
Just
there.
missing that squad leader's head by about a
You
foot.
need to use just AP and fucking shit on him.
Oh, it is HE.
Real quick for 1 second, like hit F1 and I'm gonna go to. I'm just gonna kill this guy because I can fucking see where he is.
Yeah.
I know exactly where this fucker
S.
is.
Pony and S. Klein sort of sharing the driving gunning responsibilities of this.
Yeah, Tyler, I don't think Squad's going to be coming to PS4, but you never know what the devs are going to work on next. But right now, it's primarily focused on PC. Still in alpha.
Yeah, I mean, there's certainly nothing stopping. There's nothing stopping the developers to port their console. Unreal Engine games lately, they've been loving the console.
Alright, he's standing up now, 153. You should
but might have a problem with Sony's attitude to crossplay.
Good shot, good shot. Little up.
This is kind of funny. The HE rounds are just like missing. Or these are AP rounds.
Pretty sure.
English breakfast. They're close.
Let's head southwest. Take the short routes. Run along the edge of these trees.
Be advised, my squad is in an unsuperior position. They have eyes on us, and they.
Oh, guy drops. I guess he bled out. Ooh. AR gunner. He got hit.
It's okay. It's gonna be fine.
Orthodox King God, protect us.
Mortar smoke?
Yeah, if you can't fight it directly, fight it indirectly. Blind it.
They're popping smoke.
It's funny because they're sort of they were actually about 20 meters short of the BTR. Direct shots there might have actually damaged it. Get a little update on troop movements. Close contact in the north. Squad, the assault squad plus British squad seem to be pretty close to shaking hands there.
Yeah, and the British have decided to extend their line out, so the north defenses.
Bravo, have you got good eyes on that hill?
An entire squad to the south, they thought was a counterflank with the BTR. So.
Yeah, they have a squad and a half southwest of the HQ point.
Copy that.
Super
can you
weird.
cover
They even have a
from
squad.
there? We'll push towards the buildings.
It looks like they have a squad southeast, but it's
Copy
still
that.
closer.
Right, everybody
It's
push
within
into the
300
buildings.
meters of the
Two's
point,
going to
but
cover us over the top. Get a hell of a rate of fire.
I wish I understood the logic there. They're way spread out. Maybe just a. Oop, looks like the BTR might have shots on some far contacts here. The distractions are really working. There's a fire team. There's a whole squad. Russia's pushed a squad south. They're pushing across the river, and I guess it's forced British to extend way far south. They're trying to mortar this position now, and Russia retreats off the hill. But Russians have already made it across the river way to the south.
Outflanked by Absol's farm.
Which way is that?
I have the right window.
That is east.
And they have a tow missile launcher set up, the British do. And Axe has found it, and he is spamming it with all the bullets he can at range.
Copy, moving. Squad 4, we broke contact. Running out.
You can see it right here.
Yeah, that's not possible.
You can see that you can barely see it. It's against the white tree right there. at a range of probably something like 350, 400 meters away. The MGs are just making sure that anything around them can't use it. And the position that that thing is, with the position that these troops are in, that TOW missile launcher is going to be unmanned for quite a while. However, mortars walking on their position seem to land about 20 meters short of the hill where they are, and Axis Squad is now displacing because of the mortars as more rounds come out.
Super low on ammo now.
Russians making real progress in the north, though.
One white, one orange.
We're breaking contact to the north again. 4.
I still got 3 white, 2 yellow.
Got 2
Every
white.
time we hear mortar report, we're just gonna spread out. Break contact.
Mortar's decidedly off target there as the Russians already displaced. They're displacing a little bit further south to try to get a better shot on. And now the BTR is introducing itself.
Pony, we're gonna push west along.
I don't think the TOW has a shot on the BTR in its current position.
Accurate or higher? Good.
Oh, it might actually. You can thread it through the trees, actually. BTR expedites exit of the area, sensing that getting a report from another commander that they're about ready to man the TOW.
Direct east of you.
Oh, Dorf. Happened.
Apparently
BTR decides to come up the hill a little bit.
Yeah, Dorf, you want to see the targets I'm trying to get you to hit?
No, not really.
I might be calling bad. You can see them from where you're at. Like 300.
Fog?
And then...
Thank you. Yeah, they lit me up.
That's too far, sorry. It's
Bump,
like
how you
285
doing?
from up here.
Thank you.
It's on the road.
If we have mortars,
BTR
we can get them hotel
switching to
1156,
coax
they're in
now,
the
trying
This
to
guy
scare
shot off
some
three.
British that were watching out for a southern push.
Phoenix, they're falling back
They're
west.
shooting
That's
back
what,
at it.
They're popping smoke on the road and moving through.
Copy. 3 is under heavy fire. If we can get a single mortar on H1256, sorry, H11,
Weird.
H11,
It's weird how they're shooting back at it with just like, you know, rifle.
Still taking heavy contact from the down. Is there any way we get 30 mil support up here?
The assault squad's asking for 30 mil support
Alright, see if you
again.
can get a couple of smokes in
And
that
it looks
road
like the
and we
30
need to
mil
try and
is
cross
going
over this.
to move out and risk the TOW.
Smoke the road off so that we can push through it.
As where you taking hits from, I can support you. I just need to know where to go. Town.
Just used all mine.
They're coming from town. Well, let's see. I may or may not be able to help with that. Axe, is that TOW still damaged?
The TOW is maneuvering a little bit.
I'm trying to get eyes.
Wait,
Negative, it is clear.
Looks like there's a British force, or I don't know if the Russians are trying to bypass the force in the north. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. That looks like TKs, or mortars. Oh, they could have been,
If you can light them up, I'll send my squad across.
Pony, we're out of contact.
there's just reported weird in the conquer.
I guess I'm in command, because I've been kind of... You are in command, you were one.
BTR is taking a chance, and the TOW missile launcher is now manned.
We're gonna have to check.
Toes man.
The TOW is now manned, and it looks like they may have gotten off it. Nope, the TOW is still manned. But the BTR is in defilade to the TOW. Matter of fact, the driver for the BTR gets out. Best Pony. He wants to take a shot at this, I think. He wants to be able to talk people onto it. He's looking for binocs. And looks like Axe killed a TOW gunner. Pony not being inconspicuous here.
How the fuck are they hitting me there?
Apparently he got hit. Wow, that's some good shooting there. It's a good 400-meter shot. And the mortar's coming out again. Pony's surprised. He got shot. Axe now crossing the river from the immediate eastern, and here comes the BTR coming back up. More push in the north here. The BTR is going straight over. I think it just fell. It looked like it flipped there for a second, but it just rolled down the cliff. That was some ballsy driving there from Best Pony. The toe misses. One toe missed. The gunner's dead. There goes the toe launcher itself. It's been destroyed. The toe missed by about 2 meters in front of the BTR. It was leading the target, and from so close, it couldn't have. I bet you the BTR stopped and the toe couldn't compensate in time. How unfortunate. That's 500 ammo to reload that thing. Of course, now they have to rebuild it too. And the HE rounds of the BTR definitely making it work against any sandbags in its way. Russian forces have bypassed a British force, so there's a British force behind them now. A British, like half a squad. This is, I'm trying to figure out who this is. This is Jenkins' fire team / squad / responsibility right now. Ooh, there's British real close.
Back there. Hold on.
I'm gonna pop those
They see
sandbags.
people up the hill. The ricochet man has snuck up pretty close here.
Can I start you?
They're spamming the wall. There's no windows for where Ricochet Man is, so all he's got to do is cover an exit. But I think there's 2 exits to this building. Ricochet Man deciding to push in. 1, 2. Just one.
They're right across this wall. They're right there.
Pretty sure the penetration on this wall. Yeah, the Russians are trying to shoot through it to get him.
Yeah, that's where the Hescos are.
40, you cap.
But the Russians are trying to shoot through the wall, but he's not. This is awkward.
The house.
Ricochet Man still trying to peek in here.
Shooting Luke checks down.
He's trying to decide which angle he wants to cover this at. He doesn't even know what he wants to do. Pretty sure he's got someone on his back up high on the rocks covering him. And it looks like there's a fire team. There's a fire team of British that are coming through right now. Grenades in. Oh, maybe not a grenade. I hear more grenades being thrown. Lanoid goes down to a grenade. Ricochet Man sneaking around to a corner. Able to kill Winged Hussar. There's still 1 Russian here. This is bad news for the Russian push. Zaki coming back to the door. Trades 1 for himself. Whew. That was a squad. That was a half a squad plus down by British fire team. And there's more Russian casualties seen here. Dr. Compton able to nail down 1 more. They're on the fob radio.
3, how's it going up there? How many of them are in that fucking house?
The British have elevated positions, sort of guarding, and now they're going to it seems like the British are reattacking their fob radio area through the vines here.
Yeah.
Dr. Compton is on the radio. He's so close he can hear it. He's going to prone through this gap right here underneath the Logi. No, maybe he's stuck. He can't do it.
I'm gonna go down.
Lil Bump, Vindication, and Nuclear something. They're, I guess they're trying to come through. Dr. Compton goes in.
3, 4.
Dr. Compton is digging the radio.
I'm moving in from the east right now.
Dr. Compton is digging the radio. That's got to trigger some sort of panic response from the Brits. And yep, looks like Lil Bump. He's got a grenade out. He's thrown it this way. UK command is down. And the radio will shortly be following its footsteps. Dr. Compton doing work here. Lil Bump, Nuclear, Twister, and Vindication slowly coming up here. Lil Bump spamming through. I think he tagged Dr. Compton. No, maybe not. He's still digging. It's on the last stage of the radio point. This could be moral victory for Russia. He switches to pull out a sidearm now. He thinks he's going to get rushed instead of finishing the
I
job.
think there's one near the main door, so careful.
Oh, and support. Cameron knocks out Lil Bump and Nuclear, so Dr. Compton can finish the job. Vindication trying to shoot through the wall, and the radio is gone.
Good job. I think that's game.
The radio has been dug, and we are sitting at 25 kills for Russia, 21 kills for British. This is a really close game, a fire team's difference. The Russians have more high ground around the objective area. The British are out of position. Most of their forces are way in the south. However, they do have
20 meters.
Phoenix and Daruba pushing the point. Vindication
Those
seems to have been
contacts are
shot.
down. There may be more though.
Daruba takes out Cameron. Now trying to add grenades on the area. Compton bleeds out from a shot, but I think he was able to tag. He was able to tag Daruba with a pistol round, so that's some bleeding there. Phoenix bleeding. He got shot from the up of the position and he bled out. Looks like it was Bybee or Sessa.
To our 210.
There's just one British around the old objective area. And I say old because it's been dug. Daruba, I think, is the last British soldier in the base camp itself.
I see him.
Yep.
Southwest.
Squad 3 for British. Pretty close. Squad 1 for Russia. That was Best Pony, who was in charge of the BTR. Since the BTR can't cross the river, the infantry have now dismounted. They're coming through.
We see
The squad on the hill behind the sandbags for Russia engaging some British forces that are getting pretty close now.
One's down, 3 now.
We can't see anything else really.
Coming down to it here. This is getting close to the end of round 2. Oof. What a shot. Through the porthole of the sandbag. Here, take a look at that. It was Sessa. No, it was Bybee, I think. I don't know. It was one of those two.
Yeah.
On that sandbag placement. And look at this 360 here, too. Bybee, the FTL, assigns Raft to look behind. And JC has a screening position as well. This is smart. This is great play by Bybee here. And now Squad 1 Best Pony, or no, Squad 1 Storm, because Best Pony's dead, apparently.
Alright, 4. We're in contact here.
I've been informed it's no longer Best Pony, it's Pony.
I thought you were course.
He'll still forever be Best Pony. Just like how we refer to Lawn Darts as the Master and Silent as the Master, he will be the best Pony. And Xbit's probably listening to me saying these things like, "What? This is what happens when I solo stream for like 5 hours on a Saturday one time, and I try to keep it cool." Anyway, British forces trying to repush the position here.
160.
No real success.
160.
The Ruskies are getting frisky. They're pushing out. Klein, who's got a crewman kit, he has to have a lot of ammunition with him with the crewman kit. He's leading the formation.
In the field, 160. Oh, I say 165.
Kneehole's right behind him, and this is pipe funk. A little bit of covering fire from some comrades a little ways away. They're trying to sneak up on Fidelis here. Fidelis, who's been hurt already, doesn't have a good chance of surviving, especially if he stands up. However, Zentrin, not noticed by any of these Russians, a little ways up the road. And I don't think Zentrin really sees the Russians that are up the road. He does shoot to give his position away, though. I think he's trying to take some pot shots at Storm. Storm is hurt. And he's got Aethel right beside him, but Storm bandages. Fidelis and Zentrin. Let's get a little recap here. Who else is left? These might be the last two. These might be the last two British. A rocket overshoots Zentrin by about 20 meters. The second rocket overshoots Zentrin by about 30 meters. Aethel is running by himself to try to get a shot on Zentrin. And Fidelis goes down to long-range fire. I think that was from Sergeant JC. Finally able to get a shot on him. And they're still not quite sure they've got him down. I think Zentrin's our last British here. A rocket overshooting again. Clearly the Russians need to go back to RPG training. Of course, now that I've said that, I've realized I'm talking about Storm, and he can literally like ruin my career here at Squad Ops. So I will shut up about that.
Yeah, slowly.
Storm pretty much knows where he is. It looks like he's looking in this direction. And Russian forces still maintaining the elevation base of fire. And that's Zentrin shoots tries to shoot a rock, try to get some splash damage. Zentrin getting popped here. Prones panic fires and misses Storm with every shot in his magazine, then gets clipped in the hip, and he's done. And that's it. The Russians convincingly make a convincing assault on the objective area. And
good work, everyone.
Mission successful.
Good work.
We're down to 36 kills for Russia, 24 kills for British. So maybe it's only a handful, a squad left for Russia there at the end, but it's what they did where they'll do with the 30 mil was effective. All the distractions seems to play in their favor, and the British were out of position in just the right way.
Yeah, it looked like the Russian assault at the beginning, once they hit that contact after they crossed the river to the north, kind of seemed like it got stalled and wasn't going to go anyplace. And the super flank from Pony Squad to the south didn't look like it was going to be effective in time, and just all culminated at the end there to almost a two-pronged pinch on the defensive position. Even though it didn't look like it was going to come together like that, it did. I mean, it worked out in their favor. And I think the 30 mil BTR from across the river was effective at pinning down those positions and distracting the British. so it allowed the Russians to cross the river, actually straight ahead, right at them, which is kind of exciting. So overall, I think it was both rounds were really good. I think we're pulling in the commanders now. We'll get a little chit chat with them, see how they felt that their teams performed and their plans took place. And
yeah, Dwarf HML, great job, guys. That was a hell of an operation you guys put on. Just to remind the chat here, if you got any crazy burning questions that you want to ask real quick, try to get them in. But we have some questions on our minds. Mainly round one, the British plan. Was we lose one of the can? The Brit. Do what? Okay. Right. The British plan round one. They were pretty close on the objectives. Seemed to be able to push off anything the Russians had in the sort of the push at them. But that screen by Axe Gaming completely destroyed the Russian advance. How was that reported to you? I'm trying to think of who was command HML. So how was that how did that whole discovery of the main attack force in the north go for you round one?
With the northern push on the peninsula.
Yes.
All right. I remember my northern element, my northwestern element Axe. He had spotted contact on that peninsula and had informed Pony, I believe. And then my far northern element up there had been screaming that there was a ton of contact on that peninsula. Of course, we didn't know how many there were, and we didn't actually know how many there were at all, actually. We had no idea if we killed one squad, two squads. Didn't find that out at all, so.
Okay. And as far as for that would mean for round one, that basically cut off the Russian advance. The base of fire seemed like it was a pretty good idea to start with. So what was the I think Dorf, you may have, I don't think you did you die that early? You didn't die that early.
I died early enough, but I can walk you through my thought process here.
Yeah, so as far as what you did after, or what happened after the main attack was sort of brushed aside by just that formation, what can you tell me as far as maybe what you instructed beforehand, or what you thought of what you thought of the team after that happened?
So what I really wanted to do was exactly how Sugarheart, when he took over command, is exactly how he did it. I got a little, I guess, confident, and I wanted to cut down on the aspect of a really long, wide flank. So my guys go down that river. I didn't necessarily want to go through the river, but that's how it worked out. And then we just got unlucky with HML having a squad there full of some of the best shooters and squad ops.
Yeah, that was a remarkable engagement. They were all prone. They saw you guys coming like at least 100 meters away, and they were able to pick their first shots really effectively.
Yeah.
And okay, so for round two, what was your immediate reaction to hearing the 30 mil go off?
Well, I called out the BTR right away. I called it out right away because I saw it heading south. Probably to drop guys off or something. I don't know, but I saw it. I was expecting BTR. It wasn't until probably 5 minutes later that it was called out as a 30 mil. And to me, that didn't really change much, but it changed the focus of half the team, half my platoon. It changed their focus to just worrying about that BTR, and I think that really affected us, as you saw by the double envelopment there at the end.
And HML, what was your major plan for the BTR, and how close to the role did it play for you? Or how happy were you satisfied with the BTR 82's performance that round?
Well, the BTR 82 or the BTR 80, for my perspective, they could have been replaceable. Like I could have had one or the other. Either way, they would have done the same job. They would have, for me, didn't really fit a big role in my plan. either way, I would have had a squad doing what the BTR was doing, far south, engaging the Golf 12 keypad. The BTR 30 mil was just a bonus. Getting the BTR was able to, I was able to have squads maneuver quicker and have that extra fire support, especially with the HE rounds on that BTR 30 mil. It's quite powerful. But no, I don't think having it or not having it would have changed much. I would have had the same kind of plan idea. Didn't change me at all. Like, no, I wasn't really happy about it, but I wasn't sad about it either way. It was just kind of a meh kind of thing.
All right. Thank you guys for your introspective into the round. Appreciate it. That's Dorfin HML Command. You guys did a great job. Looked like it was a lot of fun to watch. It was a lot of fun to cast. So appreciate your time and commanding the operation for it.
Thank you guys for casting. You're doing a great job.
And with that, we're going to sign off the stream right now. So that was 2 rounds of what was Sleeping Serpents. We've got part 2 of that operation coming up later tonight. We're going to be going live as close to 9 o'clock Eastern, as is possible. We try to go live at the top of the hour, right after all the roll call stuff happens for the operation. And we're going to be having one of those later tonight. So that's 9 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Pacific on our streaming channels, Twitch or YouTube. Twitch.tv/SquadOps is our direct link to the channel. All the links, anything you want to know about Squad Ops can be found on our website, squadops.gg. I want to thank Shadowed for being the man in the ear this particular broadcast, and Xbit co-commentator, and the guy who creates the missions. So this is you've just been seeing the fruit of Xbit's work. Thanks so much. This operation was pretty cool, man.
Yep. We'll see how round part 2 goes. Bridge crossings. It'll be fun.
Bridge crossings. Those are brutal words, but should be a lot of fun to watch. Come back, follow us on Twitch and stuff like that. Come back later, and you're going to see some bridge crossings. That sounds like fun. Anyway, thanks a lot for watching, guys. Until next time, sign off for now.